All right, guys, we have got some breaking news coming in tonight because we have just had a plane collide with a Blackhawk helicopter in the within the last hour. Now, there's a lot of search and rescue going on. There's a lot of misinformation about what actually happened here and what took place. We're going to try to dive into some of it. We are live, full spectrum survival, only on YouTube. Thanks, Kelly, for bringing in the coffee there. Will you please make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and please throw in where you're coming in from. We are live here, so it's from all over. We're at the southern end of the Appalachian Trail at the northern part of Alabama here ourselves. We are just glad to have you guys here with us, sharing information and seeing exactly what's happening out there. So let's take a look at what's going on here with this disaster. We've got a plane crashing into the Potomac River. It was landing at the Reagan Washington National Airport. Let's get some video going of it first. This is the actual video that as soon as it happened. Absolutely horrific what's going on here. I mean, that's just it, guys. You never know when your time is coming to survive a disaster. Right here in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the flash of light. Reports are suggesting that the aircraft that was involved at the crash was one of Flight 5342, a Canadair regional jet, CRJ 700, operated by PSA. That's an airline operated by American Airlines. The flight was landing at the airport after flying from the Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas. If these reports are correct, up to 60 passengers were said to have been on board at the time. So this is really disastrous. I hope that search and rescue is able to put some stuff together and really find some people who survived this. It's really horrible, and that's just it. You don't know when your survival time is coming. You don't have time to put on the mask. You don't have time to do anything. They didn't know what was happening. Just slaps them right in the face. In a statement, the D.C. police said at 8:53 p.m., multiple calls were received for an aircraft crash above the Potomac. Immediately, D.C. Fire and D.C. EMS, as well as the Metropolitan Police Department, they started arranging a search and rescue operation. I've got another video of the search and rescue operation here. That's what reports are saying, Hula Girl, that it hit a Blackhawk helicopter. Now, we don't know whether this Blackhawk was operated from police department, which there is some suspicion that it might have been operating out of the police department, or at least in conjunction with the police department, or if it was military operated. Could you imagine if this was meant to be a different helicopter or a different plane coming in or going out? We see lots of attacks. Who knows who was on this? I mean, we don't have a passenger list right now. We don't know what actually was this targeted? There's absolutely no way to know. So guys, it is January 29th. It's 9 p.m. Central, 10:19 Eastern. This just happened within the last hour. If you're watching this later, you're probably going to catch more information between then and now, just to see what happens. Definitely a time to think about, everybody involved. So footage is emerging of the helicopters with searchlights passing over the Potomac. We just watched that. I've seen reports of a collision, says one observer. Kansas senator posted on X that the flight in question had been traveling from Wichita, hit a helicopter when it went into the river. We're in contact, they say, with authorities. We are working to get answers. We ask that you join us in prayer for every single passenger and their families. So definitely some wild stuff going on there. Really feel bad for all of that. This is going on in London. I've got to switch this video around here. So anybody who is asking why it's backwards, it's so that we can keep publishing these types of videos for you and not worry about anything else. So good morning, London. This is London, supposedly within the last 48 hours. These are protesters, obviously mad at this guy's vehicle. Now, I don't know what kind of vehicle that is, but it sure looks expensive to me. It was a U.S. Army helicopter, says Raspberry Pi Militant. I don't know. I was a Blackhawk. I know that they maybe have some operations going on in that area. So I'm going to have to wait for a little bit more information to come out and see what was the extent of what was happening. Again, right here in this video, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, this guy didn't expect this. And look at this cop here. What's this cop doing? Anything? These two police, this is in London, of course, so they're going to Billy Bob them with their Billy Bats and not really do much. But the same thing could happen in Pennsylvania, could happen in California. In fact, we have reports that protests against immigration responses are really coming in. And a lot of people are really getting up in arms over all that. One person, according to Donna Hooper, said it looked intentional by the helicopter. Open a records request on the helicopter issues. No, I have not. So if anybody has any more information there, we would love to see it come in. When did this live start? Annalisa, nice to see you here. Within the last 10 minutes. Okay, so that was the London event. Let's see. We do have protests all across the world right now. Grenades in the Bronx. This is the Venezuelan gang leader. I'm going to flip this back normal for you guys. A Trendy Aragua ringleader nabbed trying to buy explosives in New York just months after he was reported, or the group has been, terrorizing Colorado residents. The Homeland Security Secretary has said, why would anyone in this country need to buy a grenade? The suspect, Zambrano Pacheco, caught in a massive ICE sweep, netting over 1,000 arrests. Of course, many more today. They say they're kicking down doors. Now they're buying explosives in the Bronx. Can you imagine going up against somebody with that sort of tool, a grenade? Your survival chances really change. Hey, Colleen Hartman, glad to have you here. Colleen and all of the members of YouTube, thank you guys so much for asking us to put these lives out for everybody here. So really appreciate it. There was a guy who took a hostage bus driver in North Portland. You know, I did see that. We might even have one of those reports up here. Portland and Washington today, blowing up. I mean, people are losing it. California, people are losing it. And I mean, they're losing their grip. And so I see a lot of people in our community, the preppers, survivalists, off-gridders, news watchers, whatever you might be a part of, everybody's getting a little bit concerned with the direction that we're going. Because I started telling you about this as soon as Trump started pushing out his agenda for immigration. I was like, we got to watch out, guys, because if you're already a criminal and you're acting criminally inside the country, and sure, everybody who doesn't pay their taxes isn't the same as a person who will push an old lady down a flight of stairs. Of course not. We're not making that correlation. We're not making that distinct line there. But if you start making mad the millions and millions of people acting criminally inside the country, do you think they're going to stop at that? Do you think anybody's just going to be like, oh, okay, I guess it's time. We had a good run, folks. Let's go back. Let's enjoy, some Taco Tuesday or some Syrian kebabs or whatever it is from whatever country they're here from. And they just go about their life. No, a lot of them are going to be so mad, so freaking mad. And they're already starting to take it out on citizens inside of the country. All right, let's see what else we've got here. This is North Carolina. We do throw some good news in here, right? Horrible what happened in North Carolina. Horrible the response that the previous administration allowed. Horrible the response that us as citizens allowed to happen there. But what's really going on there now? Well, thankfully, we are seeing some cleanup effort. People are getting in there. We're getting trucks in there. We're getting people in there to actually make some change there. So I hope that keeps up because, boy, do we need it. Let's see. These are the trucks coming in. We needed this, 3 months ago? 4 months ago? That's when we needed this. But I'm glad that it's happening right now. Matthew Bellinger says, Nate, Canadian Prepper, has a store for income, but you have my donation. Keep reading this, and many other donations have income for your journalist job. Well, thank you so much, Matthew, and thanks for thinking about our community here. We're a small group. We don't employ anybody. It's just me, my wife, and my oldest son. So thank you so much for your support in making what we do possible. So here's the trucks coming into North Carolina. Think about your city, right? Think about your state, and you have a long duration emergency like these people in North Carolina do. You are going to run into a very similar situation. There are people right now that have to go to the bathroom inside of a 5-gallon bucket. The lucky ones have trash bags inside that make it easier to clean up. The luckiest of them also have a dumpster that's being picked up by an organization. The unlucky ones are having to field their own excrement themselves. So that's not a position anybody really wants to be in. But what we do know, and I think do I have a video problem here? You guys tell me if I'm frozen there. Yeah, Brad's frozen. I'm going to try and fix it here. Give me just a second. Let's see. Are we back yet? Nope, not back yet. Let me see if I can maybe fix it here. Maybe we've got. Is this Tren de Aragua? Was this an op? You know, who really did this? That's what I'm asking myself. Who really did this? Let's see. Are we back there? You know, we just go with what we got, right? So maybe if I shut it down, bring it back. I don't know. We're trying our best here. So give me a quick interlude, and let's see if we can bring it back. All right, folks. Well, apparently that'll teach me to pay attention, to not pay better attention to the actual stream side of things here. I'm trying to get information out, so I wasn't watching that. If you guys see that kind of thing happen where it shuts down the video stream, please make me aware of it. I am watching the chat up here. Just throw it in there and be like, hey, you got a problem, bro. You need to fix this, so I can close down OBS here and start it again. Okay, so these are the people of North Carolina. Okay, this is really bad. This is actually very, very scary. Every video that we're watching here, you don't know how quick it is for you to go from a day you thought was peaceful to a day that loses its shh. And this is just one example here, okay? And I've got to make sure there's no video, no audio here. Okay. This is a dude. And actually, I think I need to invert this, okay? Because this is sensitive. Okay, so this is a dude right here. Really scary, guys. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Okay, let's get this rolling. This guy bumps into this fella, right? By accident, okay? Let's watch this again. So you're watching the guy coming down the stairs. Whoops, sorry about that, fella. He probably gave him the old, you know, hey, sorry, didn't mean to. And then let's skip forward and see what this guy does. Now, maybe he didn't. Maybe he was like, watch out, you whatever. Maybe he was a real jerk. I don't know. But just watch. Guy runs up and neck plants him with a knife. Now, these are in areas that you're not supposed to have knives, right? Because that's what happens. You take away the self-protection tools from the people who will actually do good for yourselves and for your families, protect yourselves. And what's everyone left with? Only the criminals have the tools. So again, this is how quick your day can go from absolute great. Guy could have been having the greatest day of his life. Walked in. Now maybe he said something janky. I don't know. This guy decides that this is the response that he needs. Whacks him. Stabbed right in the neck. Okay, this guy's in shock, doesn't know what's going on. Who knows what he just got? I mean, did he get some, you know, a little bit of some special sauce? Who knows? But you don't know how quick your day can go from normal to absolute madness.
Let's try.
Here's another one. This is reportedly at a 15-minute city. Let's do a quick search so that you guys can see what a 15-minute city is, okay? 1 5-minute city. Okay, a 15-minute city is an urban planning concept that aims to make your daily needs within walking or bicycle distance from any point in the city. So the idea here sounds great, right? You're like, oh man, that's awesome. Doctors there, the hospitals there, the faith-based organizations are there, the food's there, everything's there. It's great. And then you start to realize why. Why would they do this? It's all for control. It's all for a maximization of control. So let's look at these control mechanisms right here.
This is not the Tesla charger. This is the electric meter. And see, the houses are numbered on the green plaques. All right, let's go knock, see if anybody's home. It's brand new.
Bars on all the windows.
Whoop, definitely just woke everybody
Yeah,
up.
it's supposed to be backwards for video, Jens.
See if we can look in the window. Oh, there's a sink.
Now, I like me some bars on windows. Don't get me wrong. It's bad for an egress point to get out of your house in a fire, but it's real good for stopping people from getting in. But usually you need bars on windows in places you need bars on windows.
Try to go around back.
No problem, Jens.
So the hot water heater is supposed to sit right here.
Glad you're here, Welder.
Most of them.
Yeah, he did have a cop knock, didn't he?
That's for the water pressure on the roof. All right. What's it look like in here? Oh, look, another room. Let's look through here.
These are prisons, people. You think you're free, and that's the trick, right? We think we're free all the time. But these are prisons. So anybody watching, we turn backwards the video so that we don't have any publisher problems with YouTube. When it's like just a website we're reading text from, if you guys remind me, I try to remember myself. But if you remind me, we flip them back the normal way.
Oh, look, somebody lives here. They're doing laundry.
Isn't that wild? A prison 15-minute city. So while Trump is doing all that he can to get people who are acting criminally inside of the country out of it, I want to remind you just how easy it is for some people to get inside of our country. This is a hole at a border between the U.S. and Mexico. I don't see any patrol agents. I see some wanky barbed wire that you could step over unless you're a real, you got small guy, small girl syndrome. Everybody else could step over that. You could probably just move the bar over to the side and walk around it. And we wonder why we have a problem here. Crazy. Okay. This is Russia accusing the previous administration, Joe Biden, of trying to assassinate the current president, Donald Trump. Now, we're going to have to... I did a little bit of spot checking on the validation of the translation here. Just a little bit. So if there's anything wrong with it, don't come at me. Okay, let me flip this one around so you can see what he's saying. Hold on. They say, conduct an investigation. It is fraught with a global conflict. Discussion of the issue of the president of any country. In this case, the president of the Russian Federation. We must take this seriously, he says. Moreover, we see that there was an attempt to assassinate Trump, as well as the prime minister of Slovakia. There was also an attempt on Orban. It was prevented at the time. Now, they're saying that all of this, now, those are his words right there, that this was surrounding the administration that we just saw, Biden, and what they call his henchmen. Now, is it just a smear piece? It very well could be. I mean, who in their right mind in politics wouldn't talk down about the previous politicians?
Недопустимо, чтобы такие вопросы обсуждались на государственном уровне с участием госсекретаря, президента.
So here he's saying they're going to work together with the Secretary of State and the United States President at the head of the country which considers itself an example of democracy, he says. There are ordinary bandits, murderers. This is a crime. Now, if you don't think that's true, there is some validation there, right? Because let's look at Boeing. How many people were talking out about Boeing and then suddenly decided that they weren't okay with life anymore? It just kept going on and on. It was more like going than Boeing. Because if you were going to talk about it, you were going to die. And that's the facts that we look at the very tip top of Colleen says, let me talk to Kelly. Kelly, I think, is in the front room. We have a friend over tonight, and it was her birthday. She's not a big sweet eater. And so she said, could you make me submarine sandwiches with a candle inside of it? And so that's what we did. I do have some of the video here. Let me see if I could pull it up in a way that you guys could see it. I'm going to spare you my voice, but there you see. So that's our treat tonight. Was we have a friend visiting, and it was time to give her birthday submarine sandwich. And you never know. I mean, I'm not too big of a cake eater, but I do like the idea of a birthday cake. But this was her idea, and we certainly go with it. Let me see what I'm missing here. Kelly, somebody wanted to say hi, so are you able to peek for a second? Okay. Hey, Don Don. Hey, glad to see you here, Don Don. You have to bend down low.
Hello.
My beautiful wife, everyone. Okay, so Russia's accusing the administration of using power to make people assassinate others. It's possible. I mean, the CIA has been doing it for a long time, right? Okay, they say it's perfectly fair for the U.S. to be raising questions about the Panama Canal. Now, this one, I've got to flip. So, and I wish actually that I don't know where my image went. That's supposed to be on top of this. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so listen to the audio. I'm going to cover a little bit of it. Evening, Audacity.
Panama's a different situation. The nation of Panama did not build the Panama Canal. America did. The nation of Panama did not pay for the Panama Canal. America did. The nation of Panama did not give thousands and thousands of lives in building the canal. America did. And with Panama, the question is, are they complying with the treaty? Because when Jimmy Carter decided the American lives that were lost building the canal didn't matter, the trillions of dollars we spent didn't matter, he wanted to give it away anyway, at least we got a treaty in exchange for it. And so I think it is a perfectly fair.
Let me skip around here.
And America, it is not in our interest to have China have a stranglehold on the Panama Canal. I mentioned the bridge that China is building across the canal.
Now
that gives them the ability. If we were in an economic or
you won't find me being a fan of politicians very much. I'm maybe a fan. This is a dice I keep up on my desk. For anybody who can see it there, it has 3 options. Yes, no, and maybe. And I might as well roll this dice to see if I'm a fan of whatever that politician's doing today. Today, Ted Cruz, it was a no. So I'm not a fan of what you're doing today, but you are speaking some truth here, Cruz, on Panama, the Panama Canal, and how China is using it in nation wars to control the region, and how they'll continue to use it unless we make some change.
God forbid a military battle with China. That would give China the ability to shut down transit across the Panama Canal, which would have a massive negative consequence on the United States. And so I'm grateful for President Trump for raising these questions. And as I said, tomorrow, the Senate Commerce Committee, we're going to have a hearing asking and trying to get answers to every one of these questions.
So interesting. Let's see what some of the people have to say. And for this, I can flip it back around so that you guys can see what's going on. Actually, I hid myself there. Let me flip this back around. People are saying not to mention that Panama will still be a province of Colombia without America. Other people saying take it back. It was not a gift. 100%. They're in agreement. Fair, critical, and essential. They say the violated treaty must be addressed. Others saying it should be called the West Indian Canal, since most of the people who built it were from the West Indias. The U.S. did on Panamanian territory. It runs in Panamanian water. The Panama region was greatly expanded because of it. So a lot of people giving some sort of agreement there. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving any sort of medical advice. Let me just throw that out to begin with. Okay, this is somebody posting in a write-in about a bath detox. We do have a big problem coming up, and that's that all the fires that went on inside the state of California picked up lithium, picked up nickel, picked up manganese, picked up cobalt, picked up a whole bunch of other stuff, not to mention asbestos, and they're raining it down on our food across the region. So a lot of people are saying, well, you can make like these baths that are detoxing. There's only so much to this that I understand, okay? A bath, Like, you know, even if you jumped, and I'm not saying to, don't get me wrong, but even if somebody accidentally got gasoline all over them, gasoline is a carcinogen, gasoline is toxic. You have a barrier there, and that barrier is your skin. And even though your skin is a living organ, it is a barrier. So to think you could pull out heavy metals through your skin, I'm thinking it's very limited. Even if scientific evidence says that it's possible, it must be very limited. So probably just worth thinking about these types of things. And that's what we're doing here today. Let's see what they have to say. So they say these are safe. A third cup of bentonite clay, a third cup of Epsom salt, a third cup of baking soda. Now the Epsom salt and baking soda, very common. Soak for 20 to 30 minutes for best results. It sure doesn't make the bath look too pretty, but most baths that you make at home that are good for you don't look too pretty, like colloidal oatmeal, things like that. Let's move on. Elizabeth Warren. Okay, here's some craziness. You want to talk about some craziness that I saw today? Now, I'm glad you guys are seeing this here because this is ridiculous. Elizabeth Warren. Let's listen, okay? That's all I can say is let's listen.
About fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not to do that?
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm not going to agree to that,
drug
Senator.
companies as much as you want.
I'm not going to agree to not sue drug companies or anybody.
So let's do a quick count here of how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence everyone.
Now, listen to her walk this back and forth, okay? And then I want you to listen to just one more thing. You want to know who is actually pulling the strings behind the scenes here? Listen to this and nothing else.
More profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccinated.
So they're saying that through wrongdoing, they could bring lawsuits against chemical pharmaceutical companies once again, which is something that you can't do, right? You get sick and you get hurt. Well, they go, sucks for you, bro. Thanks for your money. Make sure you check out your doctor's visit the next month. They don't care. So through wrongdoing and a lawsuit, this lady right here, who you know, is afraid of what? Listen.
Profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccinated.
Bankrupt them. Well, why are you getting bankrupted if you didn't do anything wrong? McDonald's put some hot coffee out and they got sued. Are they bankrupt? Or are they serving 1994 billion burgers a day or whatever ridiculous amount they claim? Which, if you do the math there aren't enough cows in existence in McDonald's supply chain that could give you as many burgers as they say if the burgers were made of cow meat. Now, I think they do sprinkle a little cow meat into their burger. They also scrape the trees for a little cellulose and powderify it and put it into a burger. They also added a whole bunch of fillers and fats from vegetable oils and all sorts of other stuff. So, McDonald's did a little wrong. They get sued. But they still around, right? So why is this lady so afraid that...
Profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine manufacturers, and then nobody gets vaccinated.
She is spooked, okay? Absolutely spooked. Why? Well, I bet if you dug around enough, you would figure out who was paying the pocket there.
Of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list. You could publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint people to the CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule.
Okay. Now, if anybody, I'm not getting into pro or anti or anything here. But if you saw, like I'm alive, right? You are too. If you saw the kids our age and the ones behind us, hey Colleen, did I miss something? If you saw the kids our age and the ones behind us and the ones who are older than us they only needed a certain number of things and then now they need a whole bunch of things. Why is that? Is it because something changed? Did we just get smarter as humans? And so we were like, hey, let's make sure let's cover all the ground here. Or is there corruption somewhere?
Could remove vaccines from special compensation programs, which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. To
Listen to
remove a
this.
particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule.
This part coming up.
You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs.
From special compensation programs. Isn't that interesting? So you're telling me that these mega billionaire, huge chemical pharmaceutical corporations also are part of special compensation programs? It must be because they're really not able to make ends meet, right? Oh, no, wait. Hold on. It's because they actually run the gambit. They run the casino. And if you run the casino, but everybody thinks you're just a card dealer, what's really going on? Hey, Jeanette, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I hope that you're staying safe too.
Which would open up.
I want to come back to this in just a little bit. I don't want to stick on this because YouTube won't, they'll get mad if I stick on this, but I want to come back to it. We had a mass pew pew event take place today. Tennessee. Dozens of emergency crews on the scene. 6 people were had new holes they didn't wake up with. Transported to the hospital, conditions unknown at this time. Law enforcement secured the area, actively investigating the situation. Now, we've covered a lot of things today, right? From the helicopter running into the airplane, the guy getting his necky-necked, stabby-stabbed inside of the train railway, to this. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen tonight, tomorrow. You got to tell your kids to be on their toes. You got to tell your wife and your husband to be on their toes. You got to know because this world is changing really freaking quick. Everybody out there tells me artificial intelligence can never do my job. No, you're right for right now. But artificial intelligence combined with robotics can do every freaking job on this planet. Watch this. So here's an AI-driven robotic barista serving coffee in China. Think about that again. How many people with their hair in unnatural configurations and they talk at a real low, bro. They're like really into this coffee, man. How many people like that are employed right now by Starbucks, by other organizations? This one machine right here can take away all their jobs. And it'll do it without the surfer bro. Cleans it up, takes the order, does a little bit of everything. It's crazy. What if it's too sweet? You get another one. Throw it in the trash can. It'll probably make you one for free. Why? Because the coffee costs cents to make. It's the person that costs the money. And look at that. You get a little swan on top with a heart for a head. AI plus robotics is coming for every job. And they're going to make you so poor that when you finally realize that it's too late, you're happy with whatever pittance they'll give you. Okay, here we go. Is this video? Yeah, it's video. We've got U.S. Border Patrol positioned in Coachella Valley. They say this is important because these regions have one freeway in and one freeway out, and they are flooded all the time. They say to give you an idea of how flooded with people who are here criminally, officially the demographic is somewhere around 70%. Now, I don't know what that has to do with it, but let's watch the checkpoints. Basic income, that's right. So obviously we have law enforcement really on top. They're really gung-ho for this. For me, chopper up there. For me, it's that next part, okay? So once all the immigrants are rounded up, who gets rounded up next? Is it the taxpayers? Is it the people who forgot to claim that their Cash App on their taxes because they're criminals? So maybe we should use our resources to round them up. The system, the machine they're building will not change its outlook or change what happens just because it's you or just because it's them or just because it's them. It will not change. The machine will be used exactly how it's meant to be used. China just resurfaced 200 kilometers of highway without humans, done by drone and unmanned machines. That's wild. Let me look this up. I might not be able to find it because it's probably a little bit of an obscure thing to research, and I'm dyslexic, so when I try to type and talk at the same time, things can get really squirrely. Okay, highway. Robots paved the way. And here we go. Okay. Right here. China. Rebuilding the highway without using very minimal human beings. An autonomous fleet, they say. Let me turn this right so that you guys can read it with me. Okay, an autonomous fleet. In a remarkable feat of engineering, they say. And this is great. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing that we as humans have been able to do this. The not amazing part is how many jobs will be taken away by these amazing machines we have built. China completed the world's first fully unmanned road resurfacing project, covering an impressive 160 kilometers. Okay, so let's see. km to miles. Okay. 160 kilometers. 100 miles worth of roadway. Let's see. Show me 100 miles north of Tampa. Let's see. Here's a 100-mile radius from Tampa Bay, Florida. So you take your pick there. And China just put those people out of a job. Did all the road resurfacing for them. Maybe, I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe it would take road workers less than 18 months to resurface a pothole. But nonetheless, it's coming for your job. Okay. Do we have time? Can we go back to Warren yet? And this garbage? Let's see.
Manufacturers
Hold on. I got to flip this.
to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation even if there is.
Good God. Can you imagine the atrocity where we're going to make people getting injured by the things that they're told they need hurting them? I can't. What is this world coming to?
There's no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could.
All right, I get my spidey senses tell me YouTube's about done with all this. So let me move on. But as you can see, there's a lot going on there. Illegal migrants are now filming themselves refusing to open the door for ICE officers. They're posting this to social media. Now, this is what I kind of told you about, that you're going to see a change. And it's no longer the go-ahead of you just get in cuffs and go off to see great grandma over in whatever country you came from. Well, no, now people are going to start fighting. That's where things get really scary for enforcement agencies, and that's where things get really scary for the country. You probably can't hear it very good.
It's not signed by it's not the one that
But you can see the ICE agent right here.
This is different.
He's telling this agent, you don't have the right kind of warrant.
What's your name?
Officer what?
Jack, I am not an attorney. I only
Okay, so look, if we
answer
get
the
that warrant
phone.
coming, right now we only want Marco, but if we come in the house, we're going to take everybody's country.
But you can't come in the house. You don't have a warrant.
Exactly. What I'm saying is,
¿Cómo dijo que sí?
you're on the phone with you or you're on the phone with our counsel. That's the next step.
Then why were you trying to come in with this warrant? If that's not the warrant you need. That's not the warrant you need.
I hope so, Larry. Larry Henry says, bro, Brad Trump brought back freedom of speech and free press. I hope so. We're not here to see the long term yet, right? I don't know what that long term is going to look like, but I hope so. They called a paralegal, apparently. Okay. This is a helicopter view of the Palisades. So Palisades is where they just had those horrible house fires, wildfires in California. In fact, I just saw some pretty big condemning information that the California, maybe a mayor of one of the regions, maybe it was somebody higher in politics, they said that, don't worry, they're going to use exterior, outside of California, resources and companies to build back better. Okay. Now, when the hurricanes came through Florida and came through North Carolina, everybody was like, why are we letting these hedge funds come in and buy these properties for pennies on the dollar? There's no incentive for the insurance company to rebuild that. Why? Because it's going to be worth pennies. And so they don't rebuild it. They don't pay out. They don't give you the money to rebuild your house, even if you hold insurance on it. And then you look at the bigger picture, and this is actually a huge amount of corruption that we really need to change. The same thing might be happening here in California. Let's listen. Nobody. Now, is there nobody because it's all blocked off still? Nobody because of the immigration raids? Nobody because the people there aren't getting any help? I don't know. I just know there's nobody there. Do you see any rebuilding? I sure don't. I don't see any kind of rebuilding here. I see some cops on the streets. I don't see dump trucks. I don't see bulldozers. I don't see any heavy equipment. Are we going to be 4 months, 8 months out like we are in North Carolina right now? I mean, the chopper just keeps going and going and going. All of these places, crisped. Crazy. Okay, Governor DeSantis, that's Florida man, deputizes state troopers with immigration enforcement powers. People are saying that's amazing. This is the way. Gotta love Mandalorian creeping in there. Just keeps getting better, they say. 900,000 estimated illegals will be removed. Guys, this is bad times. And I just mean that from the bottom of my heart, that a lot of anger and hate and violence is about to happen in our streets because you're starting to see the smoke. And where there's smoke, there's going to be fire. So please just be aware of your environment with your family. Listen to Trump.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay.
Now that threw me for a loop, right? I was like, we're really going to throw some people in Guantanamo today instead of forcing through tariff or through governmental threat for their countries to take them? That threw me. I was like, no, really? And then here we go.
People don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening.
Now, don't get me wrong. You got some people who are out there hurting kids. Lock them up. You got some people who are out there, beating their wives. Maybe big-backed wives beating their husbands. I don't know. Lock them up. But setting a dangerous precedent is all I'm saying. Because the next criminal could be the tax runners. The next criminal could be, could be something else. So you just got to watch out.
The American people, some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back. So we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. Today, I'm also signing.
All right, that's all Trump had to say there. What are people saying about it? In his mind, he thinks that those two totals are close. I'm not sure what that means. Look at the people replying to this one. You can see the some strangeness came out in this one. Someone says this is the first concentration camp. Not quite, but we're at dangerous precedent. National Weather Service, the NWS, issued a name of the Gulf of America for the first time. Now, Google changed the names. So we can change the text to be normal, right? But for the other stuff, for the videos, we have to have it backwards. So for the first time, the National Weather Service used the name Gulf of America. We are in history right now, where you have to watch this in a mirror. Yeah, I really like the idea, actually, that people are watching this through their front camera on the screen and just seeing what's up. So we are letting history play out right before our eyes. You have social unrest. You have roundups of people. You have massive change in government. You have all these things taking place. And the country that we are residing in, the majority of our viewers, the country we are residing in is making change I had never thought I'd see. But I don't know the trend yet. We've got to watch the trend, guys, because I don't know what the future is going to be like. Is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? All right, let's move forward a little.
We know that San Francisco is a sanctuary city.
I've got to turn this around.
We will always be a sanctuary city.
We want to be clear. The Sheriff's Office does not and will not take part in immigration raids or any federal law enforcement actions directed towards the immigrant community.
Now that's wild because they'll red flag law all day long, which is a federal action against a small group of people. So do you see where there's some mixed lines here? Let's listen again.
Raids or take part in immigration. The Sheriff's Office does not and will not take part in immigration raids or any federal law enforcement actions directed towards the immigrant community.
Very simple message. If you want a safe city, you must support a sanctuary city.
Wild times, guys. Absolutely wild times we're living in. This is Hidalgo Bridge in Texas, international bridge crossing into Mexico. ICE and Border Patrol deporting people there. Now, people are making good points here. There are only, or at least the majority, of men being deported. You don't see very many women being deported. So, I don't know. Maybe that's on purpose. You know, I'm always jaded to the side that we're lied to all the time. And so maybe we're being lied to right now, or maybe there's actually some change happening. Okay, here we go. This is Trump. Let me turn this so you guys can see it. He says, because Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve failed to stop the problem they created with inflation, we will do it under the administration by unleashing American energy production, slashing regulation, rebalancing international trade, and reigniting American manufacturing. He says, but he will do it much more than just stopping inflation. Now, here's where I get some tricky business at, right? I just showed you maybe 2 or 3 live shows ago, the JP Morgan CEO, so big bank, and their CEO saying that the banks are okay with even more inflation than we feel today, as long as it's good for national security. So is this just the never-ending kick the can down the road where we keep saying inflation's coming down, but it never really does? They say the Fed did a terrible job on bank regulation. The Treasury is going to lead the effort to cut unnecessary regulation and unleash lending for all American people and businesses. It sounds great, right? But I'm of the opinion that you shouldn't lend to people who can't pay it back. And so if wages don't change or the cost of living doesn't come down, then you shouldn't be lending to anybody as a bank because the chance of it getting paid back is not there. Yeah, so that let's see if we've got any new information coming out about that, about what was happening there with the helicopter. This is audio between the two asking if they have the CRJ in sight.
S25, CRJ in sight. S25, find it, CRJ.
This club has a aircraft in sight for separation.
Horrible, guys.
472 Washington Tower, 1 star, 32017. American 3130, go around, turn left in 250, claim Anthony 3000.
Absolutely horrible. Let's listen to RFKJ here.
With Medicare at $1,500. Today, over 100 members of Congress support a bill to fund Ozempic with Medicare at $1,500 a month. Most of these members have taken money from the manufacturer of that product, a European company called Novo Nordisk.
This breaking news down here says that emergency services have rescued up to 4 individuals. Hopefully there's going to be more.
As everyone knows, once a drug is approved for Medicare, it goes to Medicaid. And there is a push to recommend Ozempic for Americans as young as 6.
6 years old. Now, have you seen the people, and don't get me wrong, if you need to take Ozempic, hey, I'm not bashing you for it. But have you seen, hey, Storm, glad you're here. Have you seen the people who get like bone wasting disease because of it? Because after it does what it's supposed to do, then it starts robbing your body of other places, according to some of the stuff we're seeing.
Over a condition, obesity, that is completely preventable and barely even existed 100 years ago. Since 74% of Americans are obese.
The poor dude in his throat problem. I mean, it makes my throat hurt just hearing it. Congressman tells Hannity 60 plus lost their life in that plane crash. Dash cam footage shows the moment the military, now they're calling it a military helicopter. Let's watch this again. Shows the moment a military helicopter collided with an American Airlines jet, triggering a mass casualty event. I mean, they're pretty low right there, right? Coming in here on the left. Big explosion right there.
What happened?
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Horrible, guys. Absolutely horrible. Searchers are also looking for survivors.
Kansas was supposed to land at Reagan National before 9, and witnesses reported seeing.
Okay, the demolished fuselage of the American Airlines Flight 5342 in the Potomac River. The plane tail seems to have been completely removed from the rest of the plane. It was a Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jet. They say that per the FAA, it crashed into a Sikorsky H-60 Blackhawk. You just don't know. All right, let's see what else is going on here. Report shows that the DOD and FBI officials, let me turn this right way so you guys can read it with me. General Mark Milley may have received a pardon, but his legal counsel did not. Earlier this morning, a submitted report to the FBI and DOD leadership, evidence of crimes committed by one Admiral Chris French, a cover-up by Admiral Darce Crandall. If they do start going after all these people, guys, it's going to be crazy. Because you can't make this many big enemies without heat. And so Trump is going to get heat. He might get smoked. Elon Musk, going to get heat, might get smoked. Everybody who plays their game, RFK Jr., do you think if Boeing will take out people because they're talking bad about the planes and the corruption there, do you think the big pharmaceutical companies won't? They got money over money, guys. I mean, they're in the pocketbooks everywhere. Makes you nervous to fly, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. Listen to this. This is Sheriff Boy. Sheriff Boy. This is Florida man. Sheriff Grady Judd.
Now I'm going to show you a picture of a guy who you know has to have a hitch in his giddy-up, just the way he looks.
He says this guy... Excuse me. Let me compose myself. He says this guy has to have a hitch in his giddy-up.
Who you know has to have a hitch in his giddy-up, just the way he looks. Look at there. Old blue hair himself. That's right. Now, he's originally, I guess, from Washington County, Oregon, where he committed crimes against children.
Now, there we go. You want to talk about some Guantanamo peeps? Crimes against kids? Guantanamo ready. Get the Guant ready. You remember those old pictures and videos of the guys with the mops and everything? Get those old Guants ready.
5 counts of child abuse. That's right. So he moves to Lakeland, Florida, Jamestown Avenue in Lakeland. Well, we don't like child abusers from any place, no matter what color your hair is. But it makes you easier to identify if you'll color code yourself.
Hey, D.
Blue hair on a goober smoocher like this means there's outstanding child abuse.
That's awesome.
Our team took
hold on, what did he say?
Like this. Blue hair on a goober smoocher like this.
Okay, I think I need Google's help here, okay? What is a goober smoocher? Okay. We found one dictionary. Is Goober Smoocher really in the dictionary? I doubt it. Guys, come on. It's a sailor. Okay. All right. I'm not going any further than that. All right.
Means there's outstanding child abuse warrants. Our team
I just
took
got
him in
trolled.
custody, and Washington County, Oregon said, "Oh yeah, we want him. We're going to come get him. He's out of the county." Good guys win again.
You'll pull down Google pretty quick. So here he is. We got a sheriff in the state of Florida. Now, it's a Florida thing. All right, let's move again.
Today, over 100 members of Congress support.
All right, we just listened to that. Here we go. This is interesting, okay? Bernie Sanders. The guy's got, I mean, it was the Muppets. What was it? Muppets Christmas Carol? Old guy. I don't remember what the old guys were called, but hold on a second. I just want you guys to see this with me and see if I'm seeing what you're seeing. Like, are we seeing... don't play that, bro. Come on. Okay. Am I seeing what you're seeing, or am I not seeing what you're seeing? So you guys look with me, and you just tell me, because I'm starting to believe that we live in some sort of matrix here, because I think I might be seeing the same thing. I don't know. It's probably just one of those coincidences, right? We're getting a lot of those coincidences lately. But let's see what Bernie's got to say. Not that I hate Bernie, okay? But obviously, his ideals don't work in our current reality. Maybe in the Muppet world.
Senator, I can't give you a yes. Senator, I can't give you a yes or no answer to that question.
Healthcare a human right? Is healthcare a human right?
In the way that free speech is a human right, yeah. I would say it's different, because with free speech doesn't cost anybody anything, but in healthcare, if you smoke cigarettes for 20 years and you get cancer, you are now taking from the pool. Well, and so are you guaranteed the same right, or is there also a duty?
I'm sorry. I'd love to talk for an hour with you. We got a few minutes left here.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. Every other country on earth says...
So that's a pretty good answer there about healthcare.
Class. Vice President J.D. Vance said at the National Conservative Conference, at which I also spoke in the summer here in D.C., that the UK was going to be the first Islamist nation with nuclear weapons. I don't think he was entirely joking. Let me hear that again. In D.C., that the UK was going to be the first Islamist nation with nuclear weapons. I don't think he was entirely joking.
Thanks, Catherine.
Is it an impossibility that 20 years from now, it will be the UK, not China or Russia, that will emerge as the greatest strategic threat to the USA? Born out of a broken relationship and weak leadership.
Interesting. That's interesting information. So that might be something that's going to be one of those videos we probably come back to.
I appreciated they took back that tough talk, but we may have tough talk from others, but it's not going to mean anything. They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it too. They're going to like it. They're going to take it back, and they're going to like it. Today I appreciated they took back that tough talk.
No, guys, Brad, I hope you're not turning on us. South Florida says. If you're talking about Florida Man, no, I'm not turning on Florida Man at all. But if you're talking about us, the people, that's who I'm for. And not one politician is 100% for the people. There's always something going on. And you can love a politician as much as you want, but there's always something going on. So I'm a trend watcher. Let's see what it looks like in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. I'm scared for what it's going to look like in just 1 year. So let's just see. Now, am I concerned because I think that, policies of Trump will, directly do anything? I don't know. It's more what society is going to look like in a year. Sick and Tired, thank you so much for the super chat. Blessings to all. Well, thank you so much for the support for our family and our community here. For anybody who's just coming in, yes, we did have a helicopter, Blackhawk chopper crash into a passenger plane. Huge loss of life there. It's a mass casualty event. Lots of bad things going on. I'm hopeful that more people are found in the rescue.
They're going to all take them back, and they're going to like it too. They're going to like it. They're going to take it back, and they're going to like it. Today, I appreciated they took back that tough talk.
Okay, now I don't even know if I should show this video because it's in a Burger King. It's a little bit rough around the edges, right? And it's supposedly a criminal element who shouldn't be here and is about to get removed from the country, who doesn't want to go. Now, does he just want his quarter pounder? Is it a quarter pounder at Burger King? Big Mac's not Burger King. A Whopper. Does he just want his Whopper? If you could just let him get his Whopper and then see his way out, okay? But thank goodness this didn't end up in like a Taco Bell, because you would have people just losing their mind.
That's being abused by NGOs to facilitate illegal immigration into this country. So it's amazing to me the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent by the federal government that has been sent to NGOs to facilitate this invasion of our country. So I've taken action to stop those funds, to reevaluate.
I thought she was going to drop the F-bomb there.
Them, and to make sure that we're actually using the taxpayer dollars in a way that strengthens this country, that keeps us safe. So I think people are curious when we look at grants that are given out by federal agencies at how they're utilized, and that evaluation needs to be done. We're not spending another dime to help the destruction of this country. We're going to make sure that we follow through on what President Trump has promised, and that's to make sure that we're securing our border.
Yeah, videos will be flipped, text will be back to normal.
As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work.
Guys, don't forget, if you're just coming into this video, please subscribe to this channel, Full Spectrum Survival, only on YouTube. And a special thank you to all of our members, both on Patreon and here, who said if you make an extra video, please put it out for everybody. Look at this community we've got. We have an amazing community full of people who we just look at what's happening in our world. We're all of different ideas, and we're like, hey, that's good, that's bad, whatever. But we're all like, this is not a good flavor. We can all at least agree that the flavor is not great right now. And what it's going to be like in a year or 2 years, we all give ourselves time to try and get prepared for whatever that might look like for you or me or our families. So thank you guys for everything.
In their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years.
I think I see Storm down there, which is one of our moderators. Thanks, Storm, for being here. As you said, I'm buffering. Let me check. Okay, it should be back now. I see you talking in there with somebody about healthcare and as a human right. And I think we have such a problem because in this corrupt, evil form of capitalism that we have allowed to evolve in monopolizing the healthcare industry, there's no good way to come back from this. And so it forced so many people to have problems. And there's no good path here. The only path that we have is like a calling it out for what it is, and these companies going out of business. And we know that they're not going to go out of business without an entire systemic collapse. So we have no good position there.
From even before COVID, but they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may.
So here's Trump saying that everybody needs to get back into office. What are your thoughts on that? I definitely think that everybody needs to get back into office. You need to start working there. The people who aren't are obviously in a different position. This is a Colombian congresswoman. Got caught smoking a vape at the health reform debate.
Who we know?
Okay, let me turn this down. Hitting that vape hard, choking on it because she just got caught. The live video went to her. Definitely something worth watching.
Ahead of the...
I need to know, do you stand by those statements that you made in the past, or
do you retract those previous statements?
Senator, I don't believe that I ever compared the CDC to Nazi death camps. In 2003,
thanks,
the
Kathy.
United
Appreciate
States Congress Government Oversight Committee ended an over a year investigation of the CDC and used almost that same language. They said that the CDC, just one division, one branch, the Immunization Safety Office.
I see it buffering again, so let me get rid of this. Maybe it doesn't like this video itself. President of the United States accusing the Federal Reserve of creating the inflation. Okay, here is a good one. Whether it buffers or not, let me give it a second to see. You know, I'm on Starlink, right? I'm out in the middle of the woods. And so there's no good internet here. Let me try to get this bit rate back to where it should be. But then I want you guys to listen to this, what RFK has to say about being a conspiracy theorist and the conspiracies that they're talking about. Let's see if we can get back to some sort of normal here. Let's see. I don't see any problem. I mean, so maybe it's okay. All right, let's just go with it.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me. Mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions.
Now listen to that. Is there more truth out there? He gets asked by a senator, are you a conspiracy theorist? And his answer is that is a negative term that gets applied to him, so it makes it hard for him to ask the right questions. I can't really say any more than that. Every time they say nothing ever happens, anytime somebody says, oh, you're a doom and gloomer, anytime they're just trying to shut you down before you start asking the right questions because they can't get it into their brain that these are questions they should have been asking themselves.
Powerful interest.
Let's listen again. That was really powerful.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me. Mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions, a powerful interest.
Next time somebody calls you a conspiracy theorist or calls you a doom and gloomer or calls you a news freak or calls you a prepper or a survivalist, tell them that's just a negative term you're trying to use to stop me from asking the right questions and to stop you from asking the right questions. You shut them back down. Thank you, Larry Henry, so much for the super chat here for our community.
I was told that I was a conspiracy theorist. That label was applied to me because I said that the vaccines, the COVID vaccine, didn't prevent transmission and it wouldn't prevent infection when the government was telling people, Americans, that it would. I was saying that because I was looking at the monkey studies in May of 2020. I was called a conspiracy. Now everybody admits it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said red dye caused cancer. And now FDA has acknowledged that and banned it.
Isn't that interesting?
I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between...
You know, let me try to refresh this here. Can you still hear him? Or is that not playing?
Theorist
because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between IQ loss.
All right, so I'm going to assume
I could go on for about a week.
Look at how they try to shut him down.
That really was a conspiracy.
Why is he sitting in front of Miss Blackburn? Hold on. Or is this an angle thing? Is it just me? Or is that not Mrs. Blackburn? I'm getting a little confused here, but I guess we're living in a different world, right? Audio's good, Storm? Okay, thanks.
Theory, or
maybe Miss Blackburn is over to the right, and that's not, but I don't know.
To submit for the
maybe
record,
Miss Blackburn there needs to start asking the right
for
questions.
every one of these.
So here's some more information about RFK, guys. We're coming up on an hour here, and I just want to thank you guys for everything that you have done to make this community what it is. Here's some info about Soros, right? Things don't stop. Our world is not going to get less crazy in 2025. I know that we have things we could cover. We could go on for hours, 6-hour broadcasts of us just sitting here shooting it, right? And looking at it and being like, this is crazy. Why are we allowing this to happen as a country? But we do have a responsibility. And that responsibility is to ourselves and our family members, and even the ones who don't listen or that we don't talk to anymore, or that we have mixed communication with, or maybe a little bit of bad communication with. It's our responsibility to prepare, because no matter what religion you're in, you're told to prepare. It's our responsibility to be aware, because no matter what religion or beliefs you have, if you take your hands off the wheel, the car is going to go straight into a ditch, hit somebody else, no matter what. You have to take control here. So we have to prepare, we have to be aware of what's going on around us, and we have to understand that we still need people and goodness. We've got to have goodness, guys. So that's why it's so important that you do your chores, you do your preps, and then you have some fun. So you guys will remember at the early part of this broadcast, hey, Tom, I appreciate that. I told you that we had a friend who it was her birthday. And so for her birthday, she didn't like cake. And she said, well, could you make me a birthday submarine sub sandwich instead? We ate our sub sandwich before I came on here. It's why we were on a little bit late tonight. But she's still over there. I think she was doing her hair or something. Or no, making a craft for a friend. And so Kelly's over there too. And I'm going to go join them, because you've got to do your chores, got to do your preps, and you got to have some fun. So thank you guys for being here with us. From my family to yours, I really appreciate everything that you guys do and how you look out for each other and how this community isn't full of garbage. Sometimes I'll watch a video and I'll be like, oh, or a live, and I'm like, guys, that's rough. It's just full of garbage. And we're so lucky here in our community that we don't have that. And it gets called out pretty quick, because we're all like, I don't care if you're whatever. You be whatever you want to be, bro. But be a good person. Just be good. Or do your best. And if you're not, try to make it right. Do something. So thank you, guys. Thanks, Uncommon Woman. Racy Justice, thank you. And thank you to all of our members who have asked us to keep these videos on YouTube for everybody so that we can all talk. So without further ado, I hope that you guys, Sweden, welcome from the Appalachian Trail in the United States of America. I'm glad to have you here from Sweden. So without further ado, from my family to yours, stay safe, have some fun, and we'll see you tomorrow for more information from America and from around the world.